The school year is almost over. You are counting down the days and yet still trying to plan insightful yet unstressful lessons for your students to learn. You want to provide instruction up until the very last day of school, but you don't want to stress your students out. What do? You pull out a few of your favorite things. Hi, I'm Adrian Harris from Right On Consulting Agency, and today I will share with you 5 of my favorite things to teach that I typically don't get a chance to teach throughout the school year. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss this. I remember a time in my teaching career where I was given the chance to teach my students how to use sign language and how to read and use Braille. It really came in handy the one time I put my students on silent lunch and they had to use the sign language to communicate with one another. For the sake of application, I have my students create Braille art. It gives them a chance to foster an understanding and a compassion within themselves for those that are visually impaired. You will need to provide each student with the Braille alphabet and numbers. You will also need to be sure that each student is given a couple of blank index cards. Be sure you give your students safety pins and you'll be good to go. The assignment that goes with this activity can be something as simple as having the students create their names. I give my students a lesson on the history of Braille, and we have a group discussion on how caring for those who can't speak or hear is a valuable lesson to learn. Kudos to my favorite thing, number 5. My next favorite thing to teach is cursive writing. Yes, you heard me correctly. Cursive writing. I love pulling out practice cursive writing sheets because my students' penmanship in this area tends to be horrible. Most of my students use print because they have not been taught or they have not used cursive writing in such a long time that they are not comfortable with the technique. And so, in spite of technology and all of its goodness that it has brought unto us, it has limited our students' ability to write in cursive. I personally believe that each one of us should be able to give an actual written account with a pen or pencil and be able to sign our name in cursive. And so, I use cursive writing as a means to end the school year with a bang. Print out some practice handouts and have the students go over basic letter formations. After this, the fun begins. We pull out paint and paper and we practice writing in cursive. I call the creations cursive art. The students now have a fun and exciting way to practice their cursive writing. Way to go to my favorite thing, number 4. One of my favorite things to teach at the end of the school year is one of my favorite short stories called The Bracelet. It's a short story about a young girl who has to go away to a concentration camp during the Holocaust. Before she leaves, her best friend gives her a bracelet so that she will remember her while she is away. Before the short story is read, the students must know what the Holocaust is, so a mini lesson is needed. As a part of the activity for this lesson, I provide the students with rubber band bracelets. These bracelets have numbers on them, so they get a sense of what it was like to be known as a number. After the students read the bracelet, they have to go home and explain their experiences to their parents. This provides me with parent contact. Yes, even at the end of the year, I'm concerned about speaking with my parents. And so the students go home and they are instructed to explain the lessons that they've learned from the text to their parents. The parents in turn have to write a letter in response to what they were taught by their children. I love this text. It provides me with so many things even at the end of the school year. 1, I get a chance to contact my parents one more time. 2, it gives me an opportunity to test my students once more before the end of the school year. It's an easy 100 for most students because the text is so engaging. And 3, I also get the chance to give my students a last-minute opportunity to earn extra credit. For every student who is able to return their bracelet with their test and or quiz, they earn some additional bonus points. My favorite thing, number 3, rocks. Yay, we finally made it to number 2. And on my list at number 2 is an excerpt from an ecology unit entitled Where I'm From. At this point, I've gotten to know my students fairly well. However, it doesn't hurt to gain a little bit more information about them as the school year comes to a close. For this poem, you need a copy of the original poem by George Ella Lyon. You also need a copy for each student of the template. By using the template, it makes filling in the blanks much easier so that the students create their own rendition of the poem. A little bit more fun with this? Have a poetry slam. This is the perfect opportunity to do so, as it gives your students one last chance to show some presentation skills that I hope you've taught them throughout the school year. It's also a great opportunity to show some appreciation for them for good behavior. You can provide your students with pastries, donuts, their favorite treats, as they enjoy one another's company and poems at the poetry slam. Who doesn't like eating in poetry? Now you see why this one made number 2 on the list. Drum roll, please. Now we're at number 1. And my all-time favorite thing to teach that I typically don't get a chance to teach throughout the school year is The Ballad of Birmingham by Dudley Randall. Students may or may not know about the bombing that took place in 1963 and took the lives of 4 innocent little girls. This lesson is kicked off with a mini lesson on the civil rights movement and the impact of racism in the South, specifically in Alabama. This lesson is wrapped up by the students getting an opportunity to listen to the ballad. Get ready to enjoy your students singing. The students typically like to sing the song throughout the rest of the day and or the school year after they hear it for the very first time. Students at Tennessee State University did an awesome job taking the ballad by Dudley Randall and turning it into a song. They did such a wonderful job. My students from years on end talk about the ballad. I get the chance to be a teacher who wears many hats during this lesson. I get the chance to be the history teacher who gets an opportunity to go over the background for the poem. I get the chance to be the math teacher who helps the students get an understanding of how old the girls would have been had this incident not occurred. I get a chance to be the music teacher who helps her students understand ballads. I also get the chance to be an English teacher, as this particular text provides me with an opportunity to review irony. I like this method because it gives me the chance to give my students instructions to the very end of the school year. Not only do I get a chance to go back and teach some things that I didn't get around to teaching, it provides my students with a glimpse of to what lessons I like to teach best. As usual, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and please tell somebody who will tell somebody who will tell somebody that the Adrian Harris method works because she provides strategies you can use.